Well, Paranormal Activity had 3 films, and all were fairly successful, even though I argue that the third one kind of messed up the overall story. It's still a good film in and of itself, so hey, do another one. And whatever became of Katie and Little Hunter? Well, we find out in Paranormal Activity 4. Now, as a side note, I did see Paranormal Activity Tokyo, which it was not really official, but has since been labeled canon. And as I recall, I've only seen it once, and it's not bad. It's a scary movie and all that, but that apparently the main character visiting California came in contact with Katie, who gets in a car accident and then gets possessed by that. The suggestion being that Katie died in the car accident, but I suppose they could argue that she was disabled and unconscious, and wherever Hunter was just found and then put up for adoption, because that's important here, because that's what has occurred. So right off the bat, that we were introduced to a new family, primarily this teenage girl who likes to be on camera all the time. And then, of course, webcams with their... I mean, he's the boyfriend, let's just face it. They were, being shy about it and whatnot, but obviously the two are interested in each other and all that. But sadly, nothing will come of it because they're doomed. But there's a mysterious, strange boy, supposedly, interestingly enough, her mother is taken off to the hospital. Now, this could be part of the scam that the whole cult is pulling. Or I kind of at the time thought maybe the demon's losing control of Katie, because surprise, surprise, Katie is the supposed mother of this strange boy who comes to stay with them for a while and befriends the girl's little brother Wyatt. And the bait and switch is that the mysterious boy is actually Hunter. No, he is a child of this demon cult, but he's there to lure Hunter, the real Hunter, who is Wyatt, who was adopted. And so he's the real Hunter. And so I guess there you have it. How did Katie lose control of Hunter? And, why would they need him to be, adopted by some family who has no idea what's going on? When the cult could have raised them themselves. But I guess... boy, if you factor in Paranormal Activity Tokyo, then there you go. Something happened to Katie while she was running around possessed. Lost control of Hunter, and he ends up adopted by this family, and so they track him down to get him back. And there you go. So here, what do they do to solve the problem of keeping the camera going? Well, they really don't. There's quite a few scenes where it wouldn't happen. Now, a good bit of it is explained by the girl has her laptop with her, and she's in communication with the boyfriend all the time. And they talk to each other. And then, of course, the same reason she starts to notice this weird things going on. And so she and her boyfriend decide to look into this by... he's able to link up all the laptops they have around the house to keep recording what's going on in the rooms. And this provides, comedy about his interest in the girl and all this stuff. Because at one point he catches something going on. The strange boy comes in to fondle the girl as she's sleeping. And he catches all of that. But she's like, hey, the camera's still on while I'm in my bedroom? And he's like, oh. Yeah, that's yeah, so there's a lot of comedic stuff that works well between them. They do a good job, I think. The girl would go on to play the snotty daughter in Ant-Man Quantumania, which is unfortunate, but that's how she was written. Not her fault. But she does a pretty good job here, and so I don't think the credibility of them constantly filming everything, especially when everything starts to blow up and people are getting murdered and all that, that you would keep doing it, and would be, I gotta grab my laptop with me. And of course, when you're in darkness and stuff, yes, the light from the laptop is an explanation, but to get it there, why she's still hanging on to that, especially after she discovers her boyfriend's been killed and stuff like that. I don't think it works. Not totally. There's some solutions here that do, but ultimately, she'd go try to save her little brother, but I don't think she'd be dragging her laptop with her to do it. So it's unfortunate. There's some good performances. It's creepy and stuff like that, and it expands on the story about what became of Katie. So we do get some more Katie, which is fitting for me because, well, I always had a crush on her. But basically she's still possessed. She shows up to deal with this, and it's more cameo than anything else. And then we see her turn into a monster and chase down this girl and ultimately kill her. But I guess they were expecting Wyatt to kill her, and the whole cult is there, and it's a massive army of all these women, and that's it. It goes dark, and nobody survives, not up to snuff quite as good as the first three. I don't think it does any damage to the overall storyline, but I would submit that's already happened with 3, despite how good it was. But all in all, it probably more funny than the others in a lot of scenes, and I don't know, maybe that took away from some of the audio. I don't think it did as well as the third one, but then again, it's also the people are getting tired of it, Well, demographically, they discovered that the Latino audience took to these films a lot, so they decided, hey, let's do one targeted at them. And so the next one would be this they call it a spinoff, this time officially, not like Tokyo was. But really, that's a bit misleading. This actually works as Paranormal Activity 5, and it should have just been called that. And I'll explain that in the next one on that one. But and I don't just mean just in the narrative and all that sort of thing, and the cult exists in this version as well, of the people that suffer all this and are doomed. But I mean, there's time travel in it and everything. And I wouldn't have classified it as spinoff. I think it's the next chapter in this thing. So anyway, Paranormal Activity 4, I'm mostly fine with it. I think it wasn't as good, and it doesn't quite seal the deal on placement of the camera, which is one of the big elements that I think are necessary to establish in these found footage films. But all in all, I enjoyed the film as a horror film, but it's probably the beginning of the downward trend here. And it's certainly, I think, a weaker film in comparison to the first one.